Hello there, and welcome to the Azqueezil channel. Along the same lines as my giants, I wanted to boil dragons down to their bare bones in literature and myth, taking what I like from them and manifesting the prospects of fire breath, philosophy and hoarding into a creature that represents what a dragon is fundamentally in fantasy, but with no limits to how these things could make it look or act. And so in designing my dragons, here's what I've been thinking. When it comes to how they look in particular, I wanted something that I'd never seen before, which I understand is a phenomenal task, but to begin, I wanted to extract the core elements of how dragons are traditionally depicted, beginning first with the serpentine structure, making it more snakish than a dragon usually is, before I had this really uncanny idea. What if they were covered in green hair or fur? Not just a light coating, but long mossy locks of hair, all down their bodies and covering their eyes, leaving only small parts of them bare. I believe my thought track in developing this was to show dragons as mysterious and ancient, without having to tell you that they are, should you be experiencing this world through a book or other medium. I wanted to keep the concept of a reptilian face, albeit an oddly structured head with grey stones and scales and deep, almost blank eyes, which I will delve into soon. Their wings came to me as I was drawing. I knew that I wanted to have them segmented, as though there were two individual wing structures coming from the same point at the elbow, only later in my sketch deciding to make them feathered, which would imply a rather odd pattern of flight, assuming it can fly, seeing how large and mobile its body is to the size and position of its wings. So, for this, I decided to take inspiration from flying snakes, having a wide enough base to its body to catch air, and in its snaking movement travel in a great glide. This, paired with its great wingspan and 4 individual wings, would allow for a very effective aerial agility, but not in a great lifting power. So, this is where the idea of their layers come in. A dragon only makes its lair in mountaintops, except for the rare occasion it doesn't, because of their unique flight patterns. I think that the hooked claws upon their wings help as climbing claws, so that these dragons can ascend to a great height before sending themselves off. So it may just make sense for them to make homes in a place where flight would be readily available from. The thing that I really do enjoy about dragonkind in Nürnen-Earth is their intellect. I have it so that a dragon's mind is its greatest power and chiefest curse, allowing it to learn of powerful magics should it wish, although its lack of fine motor skills would inhibit the dragon's ability to cast intricate spells, meaning that a dragon's most effective outputs would be to learn the dragon's breath or charm. Great powers would be simple. Now, like us, dragons have a will of their own. They can go where they please and do what they please, although many of them seek peace in isolation due to their ever-growing and overwhelming mind. You see, a dragon's mind is capable of a great many things, concepts far beyond what we could fathom. But this overwhelming assault of thought often makes it so that two dragons could not converse, each one lost in its own quickly developing mindscape. Dragons are born rarely enough that many Ilrahem dragon scholars still speculate the details of dragon mating rituals, having never seen them before. A dragon in this world does not typically hoard gold, you see, but knowledge. Piles of scrolls, plants, waters, stones, relics, or bones. Just whatever the individual serpent chooses to occupy its mind with, which also means that any dragon you come across could be anywhere from the greatest ally you could meet, or most deadly foe you could face. The dragons seem to look at people alienly if they do meet, their large, cloudy eyes peeking from their veil of green hair as their toothed maw utters deep words that only those who dedicate lifetimes could adapt to comprehend. These people, as I mentioned before, are called Ilrahem dragon scholars, and they are the ones whom translated what they could of the dragon dialect, effectively meaning that what people could learn as Draconic is only a mere section of the grander lexicon. It, before people made its alphabet, had no written form, only spoken. There are words within the dragon language that could complexly imply many things at once, meaning only a dedicated learner of several decades could speak to the dragons, and doing so is prized as the highest form of enlightenment in the Ilrahim practice. I will now read of what we know as the dragon life cycle in the words of a great scholar called Noth.
It is not known how a dragon is born, although we do suspect they hatch like lizards and snakes. Their parents likely undergo some kind of social ritual we have yet to know. It is believed they effectively are hidden until a certain age of maturity, wherein which they can choose to make themselves known or be discovered otherwise, or not. They are carnivorous, but do not eat for long periods of time, only feasting once a few months, but eating a lot when they do so. Their first nest after their first flight is often a nest for life, and so it becomes a reflection of who they are. There is a famous example in a dragon we call Rot, whom has not been seen in some time, and whose lair is a place I am not to say by the laws of Ilrahim. His lair has a perfect circle for an entrance facing northeast that is overgrown in moss, and inside is a stone monolith taller than 40 great men, carved and scratched in ways strange, calculated and pondered as much as it appears damaged and hated. The reason for both is fascinating to ponder, although that information is only for Noth and Noth before him. A dragon lives as he sees fit, for longer or shorter than we know, although we are easily outlived by them. We suspect that long ago there were some helping, shaping out in empires as they are today, although it is a studious priority to learn what had changed. Their endings manifesting, not appearing as old age, but a greatness in mind so overwhelming that the dragon ceases to speak. They whisper to themselves and act as though a great revelation has befallen them, before they fly low to a pace of their choosing, and from their sleeping to death corpse sprouts a tree, most sacred. It is a horrendous heresy to pull a dragon grave from the ground, or cut one down without the dragon's permission in life. But it is known that sticks can fall and make the most potent magical staves should you find one, and carry it for the dragon's respect. And thus ends the life of a dragon. There are only 3 dragon graves that we know of today. Doesn't it just make you think how many there once could have been? Or how few there ever have been?
So yeah, that just about wraps up Dragons of Nürnen-Earth. Obviously I'll be adding more to them as I develop more of the lore, but that's about what we've got so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, that'd be great. And I'll see you all in the next one.